Hey, welcome to World Entertainment, and this insane, crazy looking and beautiful piece of Star Trek has made its way online. Now, you may remember a while ago that this company called Otoy joined with what they're calling the Roddenberry Archive, and they made this teaser thing called 765874 Unification. And we saw what was if I remember correctly, it began with you seeing the recovery of the saucer of the Enterprise D from the surface of Viridian 3. That rhymes, but it's not meant to. And then we see Spock up on the cliff where Picard buried Kirk, and we see him retrieving Kirk's badge and stuff like that. Well, they've done a brand new one, and it's brought none other than Kirk back. James T. Kirk is back with the same level of effects. Now, it's obviously real people playing these characters, but they digitally, well, with the Bill Shatner, they clearly very much digitally put his face over the actors. Whereas the guy who plays Spock is very much more makeup and then a bit of the CGI. But Robin Curtis actually returned as Saavik in this, which is crazy as well. Now, the actual video itself it says 10 plus minutes, right? But it's actually only about 8 something minutes. The extra 2 minutes is credits, and the credits are really interesting as well when you see who was involved with this. Now, I can't show you the video because we'll definitely get hit on that, but there'll be bits of it here and there in this. I'll also try and leave the link in the description for you to actually go and watch it yourself. Now, there's no dialogue in it or anything, very much like the first one, but it's so beautifully done, and it just shows you what Star Trek still could be with the hope and optimism. And the great thing is, they even showed William Shatner, who was involved. He, in fact, executive produced this thing. Yeah. So they showed him and Robin Curtis and the 2 other actors and stuff. They showed them this video on basically a set of the original bridge of the Enterprise. And you can also, if you go to the Otoy YouTube page, you can see interviews and some behind the scenes stuff. But you can see interviews with Bill Shatner talking about Star Trek and his relationship to not just the franchise, but to the actors and stuff like that, and what he regrets and stuff like that, and what this means. And the interview with Robin Curtis is very interesting as well, because she really gets emotional about getting the chance to return as Saavik. But she also shows us, and we can see concept art as well. Now, you may look at a lot of this concept art and think, well, some of these are just clips and stuff pulled from the original movies and stuff. They're not. These are actually all the de-aging, the AI, whatever. This is all this company's work. Now, the actress who is playing, I can't even think of the character's name, but it was a character from the original series. And she's playing her. Now, I can't even pronounce her actual name because she's a crazy name. Oh, MJ Clot was the character's name that she played. So it was Ensign Clot, I believe. I don't think it was a lieutenant. I'm pretty sure she was an ensign. And they basically just put a bit of makeup on her to make her look more like the original character. Again, Kirk, at least young Kirk, we do get to see this great moment in this of the 3 stages of Kirk. We see him when he basically dies in Generations. That's the main part one we follow in this. But we also see young version and Wrath of Khan version. Now, people have been saying this particular guy plays all versions of Kirk in the body, as in his body double. But from what I've heard and been told, it's only the young version, and it's played by Sam Witwer. So I don't know whether he actually is the body double for the entire versions of Kirk, like from start to finish, but he's definitely the young version of Kirk. And the reason I say I don't know if he actually plays the older version is because there are photos of the actors in like the makeup and stuff, which you'll see here and there in this, kind of getting ready to film, and yeah, it doesn't seem like Sam Witwer at all. So I think he only played the young version of him. Now, the opening scene of this as well was the character of Gary Mitchell, who, of course, the rumours back when Into Darkness was coming out was that's who Benedict Cumberbatch was actually going to play. And of course it wasn't, it was Khan. But it's the original actor. They just obviously de-age him and do AI around him and stuff, but the actual actor who played Gary Mitchell is the person that they used. He came in and did the work for that scene. And that scene, I've seen people, I saw on the Real BBC as well, they were thinking, is he actually in front of the Nexus because we're getting Kirk back? It's not. He is in fact in front of a sun because they ripped it directly from a comic book. So there's a lot of little Easter eggs throughout this whole thing. We see Clot looking at the James T. Kirk body basically in the data information thing screen that we saw in Picard season 3. Kirk comes face to face and is handed his badge back from the weird time traveling alien thing that was introduced, unfortunately, in Star Trek Discovery. I believe it was season 3. I'm pretty sure it was in season 3, maybe season 2, but I think it was season 3. So there's a lot of little Easter eggs in there. There's even the little photo pad type thing, I don't know what you want to call it, that Zachary Quinto's Spock is given, that was Prime Spock's possessions, and when he opened it, it was the photograph of the original crew. That we see, it's on the table, you know. And that moment with Kirk and Spock is great. Now, what they're hinting at is that Kirk was brought into the Calvin timeline to be with Spock at his end. And we do see images with all this artwork and stuff. You'll notice that this Ensign Clot, I hope I'm pronouncing the character's name right, seems to be in a Calvin timeline uniform, which hints that did they bring him into the Calvin universe. I don't quite buy that part. I think they were just brought together at basically heaven's door. I think it's them, the end of them, it's their souls basically passing on. That's what I think that is. Could be very wrong. We don't know, because again, there's no dialogue in these things. And there's an interesting part in the whole thing where we see when Kirk comes face to face with Saavik and he kind of realizes who it is, and then there's a Vulcan behind her who I thought is not meant to be Sarek, but it's not. It's in fact supposed to be her and Spock's son. That's right. I didn't actually know this, but apparently the original idea in Star Trek 4 was that Saavik was going to tell Spock that she's in fact pregnant after Pon farr in Search for Spock. But they cut that. They decided, no, we won't do that. And she was even meant to appear in Star Trek 6. You'll notice there's a few images, and you'll notice Spock and Saavik in the red uniform, Kirk in like, just seems like a black shirt with like a weird blue tie or something, and that ensign. That was meant to be in Star Trek 6. That's where that idea came from. But they decided against using Saavik because they wanted someone to be a betrayer, so they changed the character. But we also have images that they created while they did more. There's more videos, by the way. If you go to the YouTube channel, there are more videos. But we see that her and Spock, in fact, got married. So they were married and had this son together. And that's who that character is supposed to be. But it just shows you what Star Trek truly still could be and stuff. And it's insane. And then when you see who was involved with this, yes, the Roddenberry estate was involved with it. Yes, the executive producers were in fact William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy's wife, his widow. She was a part of it. His son was a part of it. Paramount officially licensed this. Skywalker Sound is involved in this. They even thank at the end, the credits, yes, believe it or not, they even thank Kevin Feige. Yeah, just, it's insane. Michael Giacchino even did the music for it. It's a fantastic video. The original video we saw of this Unification was fantastic with Spock, and just that, the emotion you could see, even though Spock's not meant to have emotion, but you could see the emotion. And this, again, no dialogue, and you can see everything being said just from expressions. It's a fantastic piece. Well done to everyone involved for this. It's a beautiful piece. And when you get that moment of Kirk and Spock, it's heartbreaking. It's really one of those bittersweet moments. And when you hear Bill Shatner talk about his relationship with Leonard Nimoy, if you watch his interview as well, I went to see Bill Shatner with one of those that he's still doing, and if you get a chance to see them, go see it, where they do the showing of Wrath of Khan, and then you get like a couple of hours with him talking about not just Wrath of Khan, but all things that. And he told us this story about Leonard Nimoy and his relationship and what happened at the end. And he talks about that in this, and he thinks, well, you'll see, he discusses what he thinks this moment kind of represents and stuff. Beautiful piece of work that they've done for this. And again, this thing, I think this thing's going to piss Alex Kurtzman off, because it shows truly what Star Trek is, was, and forever shall be. Not that dark, dystopian, horrible garbage that he puts out and claims it to be Star Trek. So I highly advise all of you, especially if you're a Star Trek lover, to go and watch this thing. Again, I'll try and put the link in to the description of the video that you can watch it yourself. And definitely check out the interviews with not just Bill Shatner, but the Robin Curtis one as well. Really interesting. So, with that, I shall leave that there for this one. So like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Live long and prosper. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.